And I'm David. And it's the Survivor finale.
Oh my gosh.
Every time I'm just like, they did it again. Like
they did it again.
How do they do it? There's always a Survivor first.
We loved this season, and I feel like this finale lived up to this whole season.
Yeah.
I mean, no complaints.
And it really reflected, it was just like the perfect sort of conclusion of all this great gameplay all season long and very different games, and yeah, it was great. We start with Dom and Wendell are deciding that it's time to get Sebastian out.
Yeah, so we're down to 6 at this point, and Sebastian is like the last threat standing, really, at this point.
Yep.
And so they're like, yeah, we gotta get our boy out, you know.
Yeah.
We go to immunity.
Yes. So this is this giant skull maze.
Oh, by the way, that looked amazing. Whoever built that, that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was huge, too.
Huge.
Like, you could see it from so far away.
Skull.
Yes. So they're having to, like, run around and then solve this puzzle, and Wendell, at this point, is just like running away with it.
Just killing it.
He just solves it so much faster than anybody else.
He's got it. He yells Jeff's name loudly and
very clearly. Yes.
And Wendell has an immunity.
Yes. It's his first one, right?
Yes, at this point, this was his first
Which
one.
is kind of surprising, but yeah.
Yeah. This is also a reward.
Right. It's a combo.
So after Wendell wins, he's told to pick somebody.
Right.
And interestingly enough, he picks Sebastian.
Yeah. You'd think he'd go for Dom and Laurel, but no.
Sebastian. Now, we had just seen them say, we want to get Sebastian out.
Yes.
So I kind of thought, okay, well, it's weird, but you want to keep your eye on the guy that you're about to kick out. I get that.
Yeah. Sort of feel him out a little bit.
Then he gets a second choice.
He goes with Angela.
And that one really threw me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, you want to keep your eye on the 2 people that you might want to get out?
Yeah.
Because that's really weird.
Yeah, and Wendell sort of plays it off like, I'm just spreading the love.
Yeah.
You know, some people haven't had food.
And Dom's like, she deserves it.
Yeah, right. And Laurel's like, bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, she is not happy about it.
She straight calls out.
Yes.
He's strategic. There's something behind this.
Yes. And she's right.
She's absolutely right. I wonder, I'm like, is this part of her strategy, though? To make it seem like she's not in an alliance with Wendell? Because I feel like you would keep your mouth shut and just be like, oh, I don't know, these are interesting choices.
Yes. But she's like being kind of antagonistic about it when Jeff is like, so Laurel, you seem upset. And she's like, yeah, well, this doesn't make any sense to me.
What's the strategy here?
Yeah, yeah.
And then we get back to camp and like she's still fuming to Dom.
And Dom is like trying to get her to calm down, just to like, let's just stay the course, don't be too upset. And meanwhile, Wendell is off at reward, and sure enough, this was a strategy. He's working on that jury management, okay? He's trying to secure their votes when they end up on the jury.
He's like, we should take Donathan out, get them on board, yeah. So they're all buddy-buddy at this reward dinner, and they head back to camp, and Sebastian and Angela are sitting with Donathan. And they're like, this is the time to make the move.
Why don't we get Dom out? I have an extra vote, says Sebastian.
They're deliberating how many idols Dom has. And at this point, I have forgotten for weeks how many he has too. So I'm right there with them. Is it 1 or 2?
Yeah.
And they're like, if it's only 1, we got to get him now. Because, you know, next tribal.
He'll automatically use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely valid and such a good point.
And they're saying he probably wants to save that for next week so that he can just use it and like sail into the next thing. Of course. So they're really thinking about it smartly.
Right, using it are so small. And Sebastian's like, we don't even have to tell anyone. Keep it, Mom. I have this extra vote.
Yes, exactly.
All good.
Yeah.
Angela, what game are you playing?
Immediately, she goes and tells Dom everything. She's like, Sebastian has an extra vote, and they're going for you.
She tried to play it off at first.
Yeah.
She's like, I know something.
Yeah, right. She's like, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but okay, I'm just gonna tell you.
Let me just tell you everything.
She just can't. She's like a little kid with a secret, and she just can't keep it in.
She confuses me so much. She's like so military, and then that is so opposite military.
Right?
Like, you can't go telling the enemy stuff.
You have intel. Keep it a secret. Knowledge is power, okay?
So now Dom is armed with this knowledge.
Yes, and he is none too happy about it, right? So once we get to the tribal, Dom blows up the plan right away.
This gave him time to strategize, and he came up with a brilliant plan.
Right.
Let me dominate this whole tribal.
Yes.
Let me throw out all of my jewelry.
Right.
He puts on both idols, which we find out one of them is the fake one that we knew he had.
Right.
So only one real one.
Uh-huh.
And he puts on this whole show. He calls Sebastian out for the plan. Sebastian has an extra vote.
Yeah.
So Sebastian's thrown completely off.
Well, he's totally busted, right?
Yeah.
And so he is just like, well, yeah, I do have an extra vote. He can't do anything except tell the truth at this point, right? He's like backed into a corner.
I really wanted Sebastian to call out Angela.
Yeah.
Or Donathan.
Yes. Like,
Donathan
who told?
looked like he didn't know anything, so I felt like Sebastian could clearly call out Angela.
And like Dom and Wendell were berating Donathan while they were like putting this whole show with their idols and all this. They were like being really mean to Donathan. And so Sebastian could pick up a clue there that like Donathan is not the one who clued them in on the plan.
Yeah, totally. That part was really annoying because it was like, that's kind of Donathan's story is that he
gets picked on.
Yeah. And here you guys are, the obvious like winner, the power duo.
Yes.
And you're picking on him again?
Right.
It was so gross.
It was a little bit gross. I didn't like it. But Dom puts on this whole show, right? And he plays his fake idol before the vote.
He's like, I don't even need to wait till the vote.
I'm safe, yeah.
Okay, when someone does that, you know they're bluffing.
They're bluffing.
That is an obvious giveaway that this is not legit status quo.
Right.
But Sebastian, I don't know, he's just a little too sweet. A little too kind-hearted for this game.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
And so he's just like terrified of what's going on.
Yeah.
And he thinks, oh, well, I gotta change my strategy.
Right, I guess we're going for Donathan. I'll go back to the original plan that I made with Wendell at Reward.
So come vote time, he doesn't play his extra vote, and in fact, he changes his vote to Donathan.
And he's like the only person who voted for Donathan.
Yeah, guess what? Everyone else is still voting you out, Sebastian.
Yeah,
and so here we are. Bye-bye, Sebastian.
Yes.
On one hand, you know, when you are threatened with your life in this game, you have to come up with a strategy, and that's exactly what Dom did, which is another reason he's so good at this game.
Absolutely.
But also just like, I can't believe Sebastian.
I know.
I can't believe Angela.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, this was the best situation we had to mix it up.
Yep. But now it just sort of feels like we're on a slow march to Dom and Wendell and Laurel being the final three.
Yep. So here we go. We're back at another immunity.
Right.
And Wendell is on a roll.
Yes.
So he now gets his second
2 in a row.
Immunity.
Yeah.
This is now the moment. We're down to 5.
Yeah.
And the 2 guys in power need to really figure out who's they can definitely beat in one more immunity challenge.
That's right. And the only person who's really any kind of threat, unless it's an eating challenge, is Laurel. She's really the most physical out of the remaining 3. And it's a very interesting dynamic because Dom and Wendell are not the majority. It's 2 versus 3, but it's very much these 3 are in the bottom, and Dom and Wendell just have their pick of who they want to go home.
And how many weeks has it been like that?
Yeah.
It really hasn't mattered how many people are in this game. Dom and Wendell made those decisions.
Right. And Dom seems a little more aggressive in terms of wanting to get Laurel out. He's like very much like, Laurel's the only threat, we gotta get her out. And Wendell is going along with it, but I'm not as convinced that Wendell wants Laurel to go home.
Well, he kind of seemed like, I didn't feel like he was that aggressive to get Laurel out. He just made a good argument, but he was also putting feelers out for Donathan and Angela of like, do I have someone who's loyal to me that I need to consider? I don't know. The editing made me think like, I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Except the last little package was them talking about Laurel.
Yes.
And Wendell even saying, like, if she has to go, she has to go.
Yeah.
But then also saying, I could use my idol for someone else.
Yep.
Well, I can't think of anyone else he would use that idol on.
Right, exactly. So this is their last opportunity to use their idols. We go to Tribal. Both Dom and Wendell have brought their idols with them. Wendell obviously already has the individual immunity. So it's, again, these 3 players are sort of making their case. Donathan, very smartly, is saying, they should take me because I'm not a threat to beat them in a challenge.
I can't win a challenge.
Great
and
argument.
I was like, where was this level-headed Donathan the last few episodes?
Right. Meanwhile, Laurel is saying like loyalty, 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 this and that. Angela apparently doesn't have a word to say.
I bet she had a lot to say and they edited her out.
Yeah, because she did not say
you're
anything.
Irrelevant in this storyline.
Right. So then they vote, and it's time to play your, hidden immunity idols, which of course are not hidden. And Wendell's like, you go first to Dom.
And Dom's like, oh, okay. And Wendell had hinted, like, I could play it for someone else. And I swear, unless, again, they're amazing editing, I swear that Dom was like...
Yeah.
It didn't look like Dom knew Wendell might do that.
Yes.
So Wendell says Dom first, and he's like, oh, you got a show?
It's just a little show.
So Dom's like, I'm going to play it for myself, obviously.
Yes.
Just in case.
Right.
And then Wendell gets up, and he, like, gives this great speech about loyalty.
Yes, and how, you know, one player reminds him of his sister, and blah, blah, blah. And so he gives the idol to Laurel, who, of course, plays it on herself.
Of course.
Yeah.
It turns out she didn't need it.
No, there was
she
only
wasn't
one
in
vote.
danger. Dom didn't vote for her.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because here this whole time it looks like Dom's not on board with him playing it for her.
Yeah.
And is he going to be surprised? No, he voted out Donathan anyway.
Yep.
Donathan goes.
By Donathan. So now we're down. I thought it was great because it's 2 guys, 2 girls, right? It's like a good mix of people in this Final Four. I'm like pleased with where we are in the game. We still got a Malolo left, thank goodness, right? So I'm good with this Final Four going into it. I mean, you know, I could lose Angela easily, but I'm not. I feel like good about having Dom and Wendell and Laurel there.
Yeah, I'm whatever with Angela. I've never been supportive of her in this game. I thought it was interesting that they didn't get rid of Angela, though.
Yeah.
I just kind of thought they, at this point, why not keep Donathan?
Sure, keep that alliance of 4 till the end, and then cut Donathan when you need to.
But whatever, who cares at this point?
Right.
So we go to our final immunity.
Yes.
Now, Wendell has been on a tear.
Oh, yeah.
The last 2, he easily wins.
Laser focused, right? And it's no different this time. He's very clinical about the way he's doing this. Like, he's just got that toothpick in his mouth. He seems not stressed at all. Just stacking the balls in the stands on top of each other.
And we know that if one of these guys wins, they're not taking the other one.
No.
So you're like, here we go.
Yeah, we know and they know, right?
Something's about to happen.
This is the moment, yes.
And Wendell is just killing this
He's there.
challenge.
He has 1 ball left to place on top of his stack, and the wind takes it.
All comes crashing down.
Yes.
Meanwhile, everyone else has crashed, they've struggled, and they're still trying.
Right.
So anybody really has it at this point.
Right, it's wide open at this point.
And who wins?
Dom comes out of nowhere,
I was like,
seemingly.
I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
I know.
Like, anyone could have won this challenge.
Yeah, anyone, and he did it.
So here we go. And I was actually disappointed because out of the 2 of them, I'm a Wendell fan.
Yeah.
And it really hit me at this point.
And you're thinking,
I was like, oh.
You know that Wendell has to make fire at this point because these are the rules moving forward, right? Dom will get to choose 1 person to go with him, and then the remaining 2 will make fire, and whoever wins that goes to the finale.
And I'm not worried about Wendell making fire, but I just am like, dang, I can't believe how disappointed I was when Dom won that. That surprised me, actually.
Yeah. So then they all 4 go to Ghost Island.
Yes.
Dom gets a little secret note from Jeff, and he has to go to Ghost Island to figure out who to take to the finale.
So everyone's got their pitch, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, he's like, I don't care about who to bring. It's who can beat Wendell in a fire challenge.
Because he knows he's got to get Wendell out.
Laurel does the best thing she could of like, oh, well, I'm not the one.
Yeah, right, yes.
Dang,
there is no chance I'm beating him.
She's like, I could try, but ooh.
It's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
And she's like, and you really need Wendell out, right? She's doing a good job.
She did.
Dom is saying, I don't respect that. She gave up this and that. I'm like, don't you see she is gunning for the guaranteed seat in the finale? Why can't you respect that game move?
Say that.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Angela doesn't say much further from that, except Angela did a great job of adding, you can't take Laurel.
No, she'll beat you. She's a jury favorite. She has not burned anybody.
She's a Yale graduate.
Yeah, she will talk you under the table.
Yeah, I mean, she had good points besides the fact that she was like, I don't know that I can beat Wendell, but also, like, you shouldn't take Laurel.
Yeah, right.
So I thought Angela did the best she has all season in that moment.
Yeah.
And then he goes and reads this letter. And I was like, Survivor, this letter doesn't give us really any information.
No.
It just
gets in his head.
Is a mind game.
Yeah. He just has to pick an urn for them to place their votes in at the final tribal council.
But they like, hey, what curse do you want to maybe have?
Exactly. All 3 urns have a similar curse where whoever, the urn for that season, the person who won the final immunity brought the wrong person with them.
Brought the person who ends up winning.
Yes. So they're saying, can you reverse this curse? Which urn do you want to bring? It's a nothing thing, like you said, except maybe it's not.
Except, I just can't imagine, like, how all this stuff gets in your head after 39 days and very little food.
Then what I thought was so interesting, I was like, he wouldn't. But he says, maybe I need to make the big move. I'm going to bring Laurel. I'm going to hand this necklace to Angela, and I'm going to make Fire versus Wendell.
Now, I can't believe he brought that up. And maybe a producer told him to say it. Because I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that would be insane. But really, Dom is the best chance to beat Wendell at Fire.
If anyone's going to beat Wendell at Fire, it's going to be Dom.
Yeah.
But he might not be able to do it, so it's super risky.
Yes.
What if you lost Fire and you were like, oh, okay, I just threw away my
Right, that would go down as one of the dumbest mistakes in Survivor history.
Worse curse.
Yes, right. So we get to the final tribal.
Oh my gosh. Here we are at the final tribal.
And Dom reveals that he's bringing Laurel with him, and he's got faith in Angela that she can beat Wendell.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Because Wendell has already said, like, I know, he's not taking me.
No.
Like, we know this about it. And he was like, I just don't want that orange seat over there.
Yeah, and Jeff is like, well, based on where you're sitting, you're going to be at orange.
You're going to get an orange.
Yeah.
So now that we have Angela and Wendell goes to orange and Angela's at purple.
Yeah.
And she's like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah. And Wendell's like, I really care. I really want to be at purple.
Jeff, of course, is like, well,
it doesn't matter.
If it really doesn't matter, do you guys want to switch? And what in the world was she thinking?
She just switches. She says, sure, I don't care. If it makes him more comfortable, great. What?
Again, military. Why would you make your opponent at ease?
Well, take any opportunity you can to get under his skin, to get in his head. If he's overthinking the color of a flag, use that to your advantage.
Yes, because guess what? Odds are he's beating you at this challenge.
Right, yeah.
So if you have like an ounce of a leg up, take it.
Take it.
Just be like, yeah, it doesn't matter to me, but good luck.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, just
be like, you know what? Color doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Go for it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Here we are.
Yeah. No. And Kellen was like, are you kidding me?
Thank goodness we got Kellen's reaction.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my gosh. But seriously, why?
I know.
Anyway, so here we are. They're making fire.
And Wendell just goes, whoop. Like
oh my God, shocker. Wendell gets it.
Yeah. So he's in the finals now. It's like Dom's worst nightmare. Like neither of them wants to be in the final three with the other, but here we are. It's these three.
And honestly, though, from a viewer, this is the best top three, right?
Yes.
This is the most deserving top three of this season.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited.
Yeah. So then, they have their final meal and this and that, but that it's really all about this final tribal council. We've got the complete jury, which is 10 people now, and they're pleading their case. And they start with Laurel about her social game, right? And I thought she did a good job of bringing out the strengths of her game that people might overlook.
Yeah, just a recap of this final tribal. She did a great job of explaining why she never turned against them and made the big move to get one of them out.
Right.
She did a great job of explaining that was not the smart move for me. It might have benefited all you.
Yes.
But for me, I had to work with these guys to get where I am.
Right.
I loved, she said it clearly.
And she acknowledged, like, you're craving a big move, I understand, but that big move would have hurt me, and so I couldn't make it.
And Wendell did a great job of talking about how he wasn't as loud as Dom, but that he was quietly strategic.
Yes.
That he was always there, always making the decisions, but not necessarily as loud as Dom.
Right.
And we both thought he kind of seemed defeated towards the end.
Yeah.
But I still feel like he did a great job of explaining himself.
I thought so too. And the jury's kind of half and half with Dom, right? Like half of them are saying Dom has a great social game. He was constantly like having personal conversations with people while Wendell was off like crafting his next move and this and that. But then the other half is like, Dom, you're like a bully. You're loud and you're aggressive and you can play a clean game. And they pointed out this last thing he did against Sebastian and how icky it was, and he was kind of surprised by it. He was like, I thought that was the best game move of the season. Which I kind of did too. Like,
I mean, it was a pretty solid game
He saved himself with a fake idol. That's great.
Yeah. And of course he gets that opportunity to explain of like, I had to make him change and I did.
Yeah.
He was gonna do this.
Right.
And he didn't because of my show.
Right. But part of the problem is that people are accusing him of being like loud and brash. And he's not doing himself any favors by like talking over Wendell and interrupting him. And it's like, okay, this is what we're talking about. This is the behavior that we don't like.
But ultimately he did apologize for coming across abrasive, but that he's confident in his amazing gameplay.
Right, right.
So overall, no one flumbled. Flumbled, is that a word?
Yeah, it is now.
No one fumbled or floundered or whatever I'm trying to say during this tribal. Everyone sounded great. We now go off to vote.
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Jeff comes back and reads the votes, and everyone's jaw is on the floor.
He's like, and now I will read the votes. This is unprecedented.
Yeah, people are record scratch like, wait, what? And
no one's expecting
as soon
this.
as it was 2-2, I was like, it's a tie.
Well, yeah, I was like, wait, why
are you doing this? Yeah.
What's different?
At first I was like, oh, maybe they're just gonna read some of them. It's like really close, and then they'll save the rest for Los Angeles. But then like, as soon as it was back and forth, I was like,
it's a tie.
There's 10 people on this jury. It's 5-5. Nobody voted for
No
Laurel.
one voted for Laurel.
Sorry about it.
Yeah. So that kind of stinks that she didn't even get one vote.
Yeah.
But so fun
Yes.
that it is a flat out tie.
First time in Survivor history.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
How has that not happened before?
So now the rules are that, of course, Laurel is the 11th member of the jury, and she casts the single vote for who gets $1 million. Right then and there.
Can you imagine?
No.
I would have lost it had I been in that room.
And she clearly was like sick about it, like did not want to do it. Obviously she respected both of these guys. She was loyal to them for so long. And now it lays on her. Like that's not something you walk into that final tribal thinking you're ever going to have to do.
Right. Now, we all know who she's going to vote for.
Right. There's a lot of drama and suspense.
So it's not much of a cliffhanger. For this. This is when his whole playing his idol for loyalty really comes into play.
Yeah.
Because before this, I thought, well, he didn't really have to do that. It was kind of a show.
Yeah.
And that's fine for jury. Sometimes you want to put on a nice show for the jury.
And just in case Laurel ends up on the jury somehow.
Just in case. Like,
she'll remember that.
Good. Like, why waste an idol? It was just going to sit there and do nothing. So why not do something with it? That was a lovely show of loyalty.
Yes.
But did it really matter? Now I think it really mattered.
It may have been $1 million move.
There's no way after that she could not vote for him.
No.
Like, there's just no way.
There's no way.
So before he played, if that didn't happen, I don't know. She was close to both of them. I feel like she was closer to Wendell, so maybe she always would have voted for Wendell.
I think so.
But I don't know. They both, it was just like this group, so I just don't know.
Yeah, and I think like, in addition, like you said, that speech he gave was so great. In addition to playing that idol, he really, I think, touched her heart, saying like, you remind me of my sister. That just like forms a bond there, and so that ended up being a great move for him to make. He had no idea how good that move was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the winning move. Dom thought it was when he got Sebastian out.
Yeah.
It was actually Wendell playing his idol for Laurel.
Wendell, though, totally deserving winner. I thought it was so fitting that it would be tied between Wendell and Dom because they were both so excellent all season long.
That was such a good summary of the season. Yeah. That it was so hard to choose between the two of them that it was tied.
Yeah. So crazy. Just the perfect sort of poetic ending.
I loved it. Yeah. And then I honestly, I mean, we watch a lot of these shows, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see that it came down to loyalty.
Yeah,
I mean, how often does that happen?
Right.
People say they want loyalty, but then they're always stabbing people in the back. So the fact that the last vote given was because they were just aligned.
Yeah. And this is why you want the best players in the final three. You don't want one great player with two goats that got, you know, drug along. This is fantastic sort of, you know, result. Yeah. And shows like, yes, these two were the best two this season and they deserve to be here and they deserve to have a tie.
I loved it. I loved this entire season. I love this cast. Yep. I love the finale.
Yeah, it was great.
Next season, they showed us as David and Goliath.
Right. So it's going to be like underdogs versus people who are seemingly at the top of their field.
Which I love.
Sure.
We have to wait till the fall. But I love big athletic people who are just dumb.
Yeah.
And I love underdogs who just like sneak up.
You better believe believe I'll be rooting for every single underdog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Too many underdogs, I'll be confused.
Yeah, right. Who am I voting for?
But I'm excited. I love it.
Yes.
And
in the meantime, Big Brother's coming back.
You guys know we love Big Brother.
We do.
Our summer is planned out.
Oh my God, yes.
Like
Hours of
every
our
year.
summer. Yeah. June 27th is the big premiere, so we'll be recapping that all season long.
Yes, we'll be back for that, and when we finally get cast information, we'll be back to share all that with you. So we hope to see you then.
Yes.
Please let us know how you felt about this finale and this season. I want to know all of your thoughts.
Yes, and we will see you in June for Big Brother.
Okay, bye.
Bye.